Yes, hello, and welcome back to B&B's Football Happy Hour. As always, I am Bobby, joined by my man Brian.
What's going on? Glad to be back for, I guess this is our end of the year wrap up a little bit here we're going to do, and then getting into one of my favorite weeks of the year. I love this Saturday, Sunday, 3 games each day slate here. It's kind of my jam.
You love the Wild Card weekend?
I do, yeah. It's kind of like that first weekend of March Madness. I love it when there's a game on like every 7 minutes, but
Okay.
football-wise, I like this. You can kind of focus on one game and you get the whole weekend. You know, you get your one – I guess it's 1, 4, and 8 usually, and then so you're pretty much locked into football weekend. So yeah, I get pretty excited out of this weekend.
And it's going to be a lot nicer to not have to stare at 8 games at one time and try to take it as much in as you can.
Yeah, that too.
Kick back and relax, especially our Eagles aren't in it. So this is going to be, I don't know, this might be enjoyable.
Yeah, it feels like a little weight off my shoulders. I can actually like enjoy the NFL. I'm not dreading about losing another game or I don't know, who knows what. Just watching that whole mess. I don't know. I get to kind of watch some good football, I guess, with some of these games. So we'll see what happens.
That's right. So as always, our beats are provided by Dunson, and we're brought to you by Diaper Dust. It is your one-stop solution to help get rid of those nasty smelling diapers. No need for a whole bunch of plastic bags and ruining the earth. You not worry about them. Don't worry about special pails or anything like that. Just sprinkle the diaper dust in the soiled diaper. Throw it away wherever you want to. It is great. www.thediaperdust.com. It's on Facebook, Instagram. Check it out.
Yeah, and I know we had a post on our B&B's football Facebook page, so everybody can, I don't know, go in there and share that video. I'm pretty sure you're allowed to share it on Facebook to anyone else or invite people to our page and tag them in the video if you think they would like it. So spread the word. You guys have the video and the tools now to do so. So get it out there.
Got it. So for the show, I want to start off with something positive, I guess.
All right.
So we had a few players, and you and I were talking before the show. I had never really heard. I know players have incentives, but I never really heard people focusing in players really going out and trying to get other guys incentives in their contracts to make a lot of money. I guess maybe it happened, behind the scenes for years, but it wasn't really something that I think was focused on as much as this week. And I thought it was cool to hear guys like Emmanuel Sanders, David Moore, Tyler Lockett, and Antonio Brown all getting special plays called or numerous plays called so that they could hit certain milestones in order to make a whole lot of money. For example, I know Emmanuel Sanders, I think he needed 8 catches the other day, and he was hitting a $500,000 incentive for the number of catches he had on the year. And Drew Brees made sure he got his guy 8 catches, and it was really cool to watch it happen during the game because Emmanuel Sanders catches it. I think it might have been for a first down, but he's sitting on the ground. He throws his arms up. His buddy comes over, one of the other receivers, pumping his fist and helps him up. And I'm thinking, Drew Brees set an NFL record I don't know about. Yeah. I mean, what's going on? But everybody knew that was the catch Emmanuel Sanders needed. And it was really cool watching that go down.
Yeah, this is a weird, like you said, I mean, I know the players had these incentives, but this is kind of just, I guess it's more open, these days, because I know ESPN did like a whole thing about it. And Emmanuel Sanders was probably the most excited one. I know they all were. A lot of them were doing the dollar signs and all that, but he looked like he broke like the all-time receiving yards record or something like that. He was praying to the high heavens and doing everything else. I mean,
I'll tell you right now,
and it's a lot of money. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, that's a ton of money, but
I mean, if someone throws me a football and I catch it and I get $500,000, I'm losing it. I'm going to make whatever Emmanuel Sanders did look like nothing. I'm ripping my shirt off. I'm running around. I'm going to be insane.
I should have. It would have been a good thing. I had him on some daily fantasy leagues. I should have did like the whole incentive team because most of those guys were probably going to get
right.
We're going to hit those. I guess those targets, or they were at least going to try to get them those looks. So probably could have won some money if I could have did like an all incentive team. Might have been the smart play there on Sunday.
Well, we didn't know about it. Now it might be something to look into next year. But
I think I did hear about the Emmanuel Sanders one like at like 12:30, and I did plug him into a few in the flex on daily because I was like, well, 8 catches ain't that bad. Drew Brees will probably pepper him with targets, and he didn't do too bad. But some of the other guys I picked didn't do so hot. So.
And David Moore, he was a great story as well because he's not, he's a number 3 receiver on Seattle. So he's not a big name guy out there. At the end of the game, all Seattle had to do was kneel
Yeah.
to end it. I mean, they should have been in victory formation, and the announcers of the game even said something because they actually ran a play. I think the announcer, I'm paraphrasing, but he said the Seahawks are out here running offensive plays for some reason, and whoever the color commentator was said, I don't know, maybe there's an incentive involved or something. And sure enough, so the coach called the play. He called a kneel down, and in the huddle, Russell Wilson changed the play to this little forward shovel pass where it was behind the line of scrimmage, and if he fumbled or something, it would have been an incomplete pass because it was a toss forward. But sure enough, David Moore catches it, runs around the end, runs out of bounds, and boom, he gets a big fat check. So good for him.
Yeah, I guess Pete Carroll didn't care about David Moore's money. So, but at least you got old Russ back there. That's why you gotta love Russ for doing that for his teammate. That's some good stuff. Yeah, especially on the last play of the game like that, he might have. I guess he won't take too much heat. I mean, he's a heck of a player. So I guess it all worked out. At least he didn't fumble or something like that crazy and whatnot. So at least it worked out. He got out of bounds, and then they can just end the game on the next play. But good stuff. And I think, that shovel pass might have been like the play of the week, I think, this week for the incentive, the incentive play.
So see, we're off to a good start, man. We're starting off on the right foot, feeling good about ourselves. Now let's get into Black Monday. Little change of pace here. It has come and gone. 3 coaches fell victim to the axe. Adam Gase, we all knew he didn't even make it to Black Monday. He got fired Sunday evening after the Jets game. Doug Marrone, head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, was fired on Monday. And then Anthony Lynn, head coach of the Chargers, which we kind of expected but weren't real sure about. And you add those to – so obviously those 3 teams have head coach openings. Add those to the Lions, the Falcons, and the Texans, who fired their coaches midseason. Looking like we have, as of now, things could change, but we have 6 head coaching positions in the NFL. Now, if you are a head coaching candidate, Brian, you got the Jets, the Jaguars, the Chargers, the Lions, Falcons, and Texans. Which job do you want?
Well, if it's up to me, I mean, I don't want to – I wouldn't take the Detroit job, wouldn't take the Jets job. I don't know, maybe the Texans because they have Deshaun Watson. I mean, that would be a thought of mine if I was a head coach. You already got your QB there, so you got a cornerstone there. You got a great player. Chargers, maybe with Herbert. I mean, you got a good young kid there. You got a few weapons. I'd think about that one. Or, I mean, if it was me, I'd probably take the Jags job. They got the first pick, so you're probably going to lock in, I guess, Trevor Lawrence. So you're going to have your QB there for the future. You got James Robinson. They have Chark and a few other receivers. They got a good young team, and they have $100 million, I think they said, in the cap space. So I'm sure you can sign quite a few free agents with $100 million, and you get to live in Jacksonville, Florida. So I don't know, man. I might be taking the Jags job, I guess, if I had to pick one of those 6.
Well, I'm not a huge fan of agreeing with you. However, I'm going to have to go against my better judgment and say you got this one right, man. The Jaguars, that's what I want if I'm out there. For one, the bar's not set real high. So it's not like, the Falcons, they're expected to be competing for a Super Bowl. You take that job, which is fine, as they should be. However, Jacksonville hasn't had a whole lot of success recently. So, or really in their history since Mark Brunell, Jimmy Smith, and Keenan McCardell were taking the field for him. But like you said, they have the first overall pick. They also have the Rams' first-round pick, and they have 2 second-round picks. They have their own, and I believe they got a second-round pick trading Ngakoue, right, to Minnesota. So, second-round pick in that deal for Minnesota. And $100 million in cap space. That gives you a lot of room to work and improve your team. And then James Robinson, your undrafted free agent rookie who had a fantastic year. You love that young piece. probably going Trevor Lawrence there at QB.
Mm-hmm.
And Laviska Shenault had a great rookie season. He's a dangerous weapon at receiver. DJ Chark is young and explosive. Plus, my man Colin Johnson, 6'6" rookie out of Texas, I've talked about a couple of times.
Yeah,
he's going to be there for you. And the Jaguars, I checked before we got on here, they have the youngest team in the NFL. So their average age is just under 25 years old is the average age of the players on their team. And that just seems most attractive to me. Now, you look at the Jets. They got the second overall pick, and they have Seattle's first, so that's exciting. They have a ton of cap room as well. And they have a nice wide receiver core. Rashad Perriman, Denzel Mims, Jameson Crowder. No running back. Chris Herndon is always expected to be good at tight end. He really isn't. Not sure what's going on with the defense. So shy away from there. The Chargers with Herbert would be great because you got a QB forever. Austin Eckler, they just re-signed, so he should be around for a couple more years at running back. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are fantastic receivers. And then Derwin James on defense is wonderful. I think he was hurting out this year, but he was a great pick in last year's draft, I believe. He had a great rookie season. The Lions, they picked 7th overall. Oh, and the Chargers have the 13th pick. Mm-hmm. If I didn't mention that, the Lions are drafting 7th. You got Stafford, who he's got a few more years. Hopefully he sticks around. Hopefully they'll re-sign Kenny Galladay. DeAndre Swift is a nice piece there, as is TJ Hawkinson. The Falcons, you got the 4th overall pick. Do you use it on a quarterback? You still got Matt Ryan. I don't know. Julio Jones, obviously Calvin Ridley, one of the best wide receiver tandems in the league, if not the best. And our buddy Hayden Hurst. He's not a terrible tight end to work with. Now the Texans, as much as I would love to work with Deshaun Watson, and what a great piece to build around, you don't have a draft pick until the 3rd round. Now you got Laramie Tunsil, but you lost a first-round pick for him, the great left tackle. And, it's awesome he's on your team, but you have no first-round picks, no second-round picks. And David Johnson, is he going to be able to perform? You need what he did the last 2-3 weeks of the season. You need him to do that season long. Brandon Cooks is a solid wide receiver piece, and J.J. Watt's always a great guy to have in house. But if it's me, man, I'm taking the Jags as well.
Yeah, like you said, for all those reasons. Yeah, I knew the Texans lost their first-round pick. I didn't know they lost the second round as well. That's kind of tough to rebuild that team, whether you're not picking until the 3rd round. So I guess for me, that would be out for sure. Yeah, to me, it would come – I would definitely take the Jags, or, it would be the Jags or the Chargers to work with Herbert. That would be it for me. I love Herbert, but I don't know, man. I just don't like the Chargers are tough because it's – now you got the Rams and the Chargers, they share the whole stadium deal, and it's just like – to me, it's like in the NBA, it's like the Clippers, you know what I mean? Like the Clippers and the Lakers, like you're just not – you're the other team in LA, it almost seems like, because the Rams have had some more success, I guess, lately, and the Chargers are kind of like almost an afterthought, I think, almost in LA. So,
and now the AFC,
I'm going to go there.
Going to the AFC South, it's not the easiest division in football. You got the Titans there, and the Colts, and the Texans. They're all pretty good, but you're not going up against the Chiefs, which the Chargers obviously have to do, and the Raiders finished 2nd in the division. So, you're looking up to 2 teams there. And I tell you what, if the Broncos can get themselves a quarterback, they could have a solid squad as well. So that's a tough division to be in, the AFC West.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true. When you look at it that way, yeah, for sure. I thought the Broncos, Vic Fangio, I thought he might get canned, but I guess he made it through Black Monday, I guess. Elway stepped down, or he's moving up apparently, but I don't know. It was kind of weird. They did this whole report like he was stepping down and taking less time away, but then he's getting a higher position. So it's just like makes more money probably, but he doesn't have to do all the GM stuff and all that kind of work, I guess. So somebody else.
It reminds me of a Seinfeld episode where Elaine was running this printing company, and she had a guy working for her that was terrible at his job, but she couldn't fire him. So she just kept promoting him and giving him raises to get him out of these jobs that she didn't want him to have. It almost feels like that's going on in Denver, because now whoever they bring in, I believe, is supposed to have final say in the draft and free agency. So that's going to take,
See how
they
that
need a
works.
quarterback. It's probably their number one need, and that takes that control away from John Elway, who has proven
Mhm.
that he's not so great at bringing in QBs. Of course, he brought in Peyton Manning, but that doesn't count.
Yeah,
All
he
he had
just
to do was wine and dine Peyton Manning. He wasn't. He didn't have to develop anything. He didn't have to scout him. You knew it was a first ballot Hall of Famer when you brought him in. So
yeah. I mean, he picked Tim Tebow in the first round, so it's
yeah, but I bet they'd rather have Tim Tebow and Drew Lock though.
probably would at this point. But yeah, there's a few guys. I mean, real quick. I mean, I thought him. I knew McCarthy wasn't going to get fired from Dallas. I mean, I thought maybe Mike
Yeah, they had
Zimmer.
come out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought Mike Zimmer could get fired. Maybe. I thought our boy Dougie Peterson could get canned. He made it through, and then maybe Zach Taylor from the Bengals, but I guess he's going to get another year. So,
Yeah, I mean, they were doing okay when Burrow was in there throwing the ball 50 times a game. So
that's
you got to
true.
give him another year. And Peterson, I mean, he's not out of the woods yet. We'll talk about him a little later, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes down.
And I like some of these names that are getting thrown out there. I know Urban Meyer, of course, is getting thrown out there with the Jags or whatnot. Somebody said he wants $12 million a year or something like that to coach the Jags or something. But I don't know if I pay him that. But he is a good coach. And then, I mean,
I can't stand Urban Meyer.
I don't know about
He's so smug.
Yeah, I don't know if his style would work in the NFL. I don't know. I mean, he's more of a to me.
I agree.
He's a college guy. I don't know. It's one of those things like I don't know. When he was with Florida and Ohio State, when you're a college coach in a major program, you hold the final keys to somebody getting to the next level. You know what I'm saying? So those kids respond and do pretty much whatever you say because they know you're going to get them to the NFL, and then that's what it's going to be. But I don't know if that works with guys that are already in the NFL, kind of trying to control them that way. And
I mean, Nick Saban is similar. He's an authoritarian leader, and it, like you said, it works great at the college level, but
yeah, those guys.
Not when you get to the pros. I mean, what's Urban Meyer going to do when he tells a guy to do something and the player looks at him and says, "Screw you"?
Yeah, no, I don't want to. That. Yeah.
How's he going to react?
Yeah, I don't know. But I saw today, man. I don't know. I saw. Was it Jason Garrett was going to get an interview with the Chargers? I mean, I don't know.
That's got to be no.
I don't know what that's all about, but
no way.
Man, I don't even want to see him back on the sideline like that.
I mean, I do, as long as he's going, as long as he's not on my sideline.
Well, yeah, for sure, but I don't want to see him ruining my boy Herbert, man. I don't.
Oh, true. Good call.
I mean, I guess he's not a bad offensive coach. I don't know, but I mean,
yes, he is. He's terrible.
He'll ruin Herbert, man. I don't know. I don't want to see that happen.
You're right. And yeah, I was selfishly thinking only about myself. Odd, right? But you're right. We don't want him to ruin our boy Justin Herbert.
Nah.
Now, speaking of Justins, and one of them is definitely going to win the Rookie of the Year honors. The Vikings beat the Lions this past week, 37-35, and Justin Jefferson set the rookie record for most receiving yards in a season with 1,400 on 88 catches. He had a great game, but so did our boy Herbert. We'll go into a little more in a few minutes, but man, I think it's going to go to Herbert. I wanted to be Jefferson, and Jefferson was my pick just last week, but Herbert went out with 300 and some yards, and I think it's just got to go to him. Yep.
Yeah, our boy Herbert, he broke some records too. I mean, what did he?
Touchdown passes by a rookie.
Yeah, he had 31 touchdowns, 4,300 yards. Most 300-yard games by a rookie, most completions or something like that, most touchdowns, total touchdowns and passing touchdowns. So it'll probably go to him. Yeah. I was looking back at Rookie of the Year, and Jefferson, I think the last guy, Odell Beckham, I think in 2014 won Rookie of the Year as a wide receiver, obviously. And I think our boy Jefferson had better numbers than Odell. But
if I remember right, without the numbers in front of me, Odell obviously had less receiving yards.
But probably more touchdowns.
Yes, that's what pushed him over the edge. He did have a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, I think he had like double digit. He might have had 11 or 12. It said, what did Jefferson have? 8 or 9 or something, maybe. I don't know. He ended up with 9 or 10, or I don't know. But yeah, I mean, man, I loved Jefferson, and we loved him in the draft. And I thought, obviously, we talk about this all the time, and it just breaks my heart to see him doing this good on another team because he should be on our Eagles. So. another miss, and good for the Vikings. I saw a video. Man, I should have posted it to our Facebook page. It was a video from the Vikings Zoom call on draft night. It was Zimmer, the GM, and another, I guess, like a scout or somebody. They were all on a Zoom call, so like a three window thing. The Eagles were on the clock, and they started talking about receivers, and they're like, yeah, they're, Eagles are gonna, Doug's gonna take a receiver here and whatnot, and they thought it was gonna be Jefferson. And then the pick comes in, and you can hear Goodell go on the thing and say the Eagles pick Jalen Reagor, and they all just start laughing.
Yep.
They all just start cracking up like it was a joke, and then the GMs.
Meanwhile, I'm yelling at my TV
Yeah.
a couple thousand miles away from them.
Yeah, the GM's jumping up, and he yells at like his assistant. He's like, "Go turn in the card for Jefferson," and he's like shooing the guy out of his room. He's like,
go.
He's like, "Go calling in. We don't even need 10 seconds." And Zimmer's laughing, and I'm like, "What a joke!" I don't know. It just kind of made me upset.
I know. I hear you.
It is what it is.
Cool. Trust me too. So next game, the Bucks beat the Falcons 44-27, giving them the 5th seed in the NFC, and they'll play Washington this coming week. Calvin Ridley completed his takeover of the Atlanta offense by finishing as the 5th highest scoring fantasy receiver and tied with Devontae Adams for the 4th most receiving yards on the season. Meanwhile, Chris Godwin only finished as the 31st highest scoring receiver, but he only played 12 games, and he was the 15th highest scoring receiver per game, one spot ahead of his teammate Mike Evans.
Yeah, Tommy's picking it up, so this is his time of year. So we'll see if he can take them deep into the playoffs. I don't think they'll have too much of an issue with Washington, maybe with that defensive line a little bit, but I guess we'll get to that soon. But, yeah, I guess Mike Evans is the big thing here. I mean, I know he made that cut going into the end zone. It looked like his knee kind of went the wrong way. He was going left and his knee went right, but I don't think it's a major ACL deal, but I don't know if he's going to be able to play this week. I don't know. They're kind of keeping that pretty quiet. They're saying he's day to day. So I guess to me,
they should, playoff time.
Yeah, that's the big story out of this one. I mean, I think even without him, I think they'll be okay with Godwin and maybe Gronk using him in the red zone. I guess maybe a little bit more. And
Antonio Brown, he's going to be, if Evans doesn't play, Antonio Brown's going to get 18 targets.
Yeah, so Antonio Brown probably be a good DFS pickup this week if you're going to.
He'll be chalky, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So yeah, to me that's the big story out of there. And then and on another hand, he gets hurt, but then he breaks. What did he break the record or something, right? For most 1,000-yard receiving seasons to start your career or something like that. With
7 in a row, is that right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it kind of stinks. You go out there and do something great, and then and then he was about to be wide open for a touchdown too, and he kind of just fell over.
Wide open. The ball hit him in the hands and everything.
I mean, meanwhile he juked. I mean, the defender's like shoe came off. I mean, dude was going the other way. I mean, he would have been wide open for an easy touchdown, and then he kind of just buckles over and whatnot. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he'll be out a week, maybe, and then he'll come back for the second round. They might start needing him come that second playoff game. So we'll see.
The Pats, the New England Patriots, beat the New York Jets 28-14. I got nothing on this one. Both teams will probably lose their starting quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, for sure. Cam, I guess he had his best game, right? Didn't he have 3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, like 30. I think he was the highest scoring fantasy quarterback, like 38 points or something.
But Bill Belichick can't wait to get rid of him, so he'll be gone. And then
we'll say that for another show, but that's interesting to think about.
Yeah, I don't know. He's going to go somewhere as a backup, probably. I would imagine.
But is Cam willing to sign a backup deal?
I don't know.
I mean, he signed with New England. It was a terrible contract for him, but at least he knew he was going to be the starter.
And I heard today on ESPN that the Jets, Mel Kiper went out there and he's saying the Jets should keep Darnold and draft the Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle, because they have Mekhi Becton and Penei Sewell, and then they'll keep Darnold. And I was like, well, I don't know about that, but
so ever since we had our buddy Anthony Aniano from SiriusXM Fantasy Radio on here, and he mentioned that trade about Darnold going to the Saints, I kept thinking, what a great meeting that would be. I mean, what a great marriage to have Darnold go in, Drew Brees retires, Darnold steps in under Sean Payton. I mean, that would just be fantastic. You got Michael Thomas down there, Alvin Kamara. You can lean on the run game if you have to.
Oh, yeah.
But what about Darnold going to New England? He's Darnold's, his skill set is similar to Tom Brady's. I'm not comparing him to the GOAT. Okay. I'm not comparing him. He's done nothing in the NFL. What I'm saying is their playing styles are similar. They don't mind checking the ball down. They'll take what's given to them. With working with Bill Belichick, that could be an interesting fit as well.
Yeah,
And
that could
cheap,
work. Yeah, that could
and
work.
cheap for the Patriots.
Yeah, there are two teams I could see him playing on, because didn't Drew Brees come out, or didn't they report he might be retiring, I guess, after this year, or maybe?
I mean, I think they always think he's retiring. So we'll see.
I guess it's been happening, but man, I don't know. That would be good for Darnold, obviously, to go to New Orleans with all those weapons, but I don't know. Can you go from Drew Brees to Sam Darnold? I mean, I'd be pretty bummed out about that. If I was the
Yeah, we got to go somewhere. You don't want to go to Taysom Hill, that's for sure.
I don't know. I'd rather have Jameson there maybe than Darnold. I don't know.
I don't know if Sean Payton would be able to put up a lot of turnovers.
That's true. Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I guess this the national championship game, I think, will have a lot to do with who gets picked. Sure. I guess the second, because Justin Fields, Ohio State, was kind of falling down the draft boards, and then he went out there and lit Clemson up for a ton of yards and 5 touchdowns. Got banged up a little bit and still played, toughed it out. He gets hurt a lot, though. I don't know, man. Every time I watch Ohio State, the dude's hurt. He, broke his thumb the one game I watched. He's getting speared in the ribs. I mean, I know it's –
Maybe you shouldn't watch him.
I watch a lot of the games, man, and he's always getting hurt. This dude's I don't know. NFL's a rough game, man, and he's a bigger kid, but it's if you're going to be running around and doing that, I don't know, man. You might need to get a little tougher, but we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the Miami Dolphins, they lost a must-win game against the Bills, 56-26. Tua Tagovailoa was terrible, and the Dolphins could pull an Arizona Cardinals and draft another quarterback this year with Houston's third overall selection that they got in a trade. That would be very interesting. The Bills are the number 1 seed, and they are cooking. They take on the Colts at home Saturday at 1. But dude, they already came out and said Tua is the starter going forward. I don't know. Maybe it's just coach speak. I don't know. Did they say something? Are they watching the same games we're watching? I like him too. Hang out with him, give him a high five. He seems like a nice fella. But I don't want him starting. I don't want to be in the starting quarterback of my football team.
Yeah, I mean,
he got benched twice. And the head coach said, if we need to bring in the better quarterback that we have on our bench, we will.
Yeah. I mean, any game what did Tua throw? He almost threw, 58 passes this week? I mean, he had a ton of yards, but he had 3 picks. I mean.
In 1 touchdown. 58 attempts, 1 touchdown.
3 picks. He had 360 yards, but obviously they were getting blown out. They lost by 30 points, man. Bills are tough. I wouldn't want to be playing them, especially – in Buffalo in that weather, and they're allowing fans now, so all those rabid fans.
See, that irritates me too. New York City, New York. We can't have people to gather. We can't have it. Oh, but the Bills made the playoffs. We'll make an exception. Yeah. Nobody cares about people's safety. Nobody actually cares about all this COVID stuff because they actually care. They stick to their guns, and when it's not convenient for them, they say, "Oh, well, we don't really care anymore." That's not football related. No. That's something different. It's just irritating.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. But, man, like you said, I don't know. I mean, I could see – man, I mean, they could take – if Fields is there, would you rather have Justin Fields than Tua? Probably. I mean, I would rather have Fields. And then you're going to trade Tua. I mean, and somebody's going to have to give you a first-round pick, right? I mean –
What about Zach Wilson? What if the Jets do take Sewell or they take Fields?
I'd rather have Tua, I guess, than Wilson from BYU. I'm not real high on that kid. I don't know. I read some things. He's I don't know. He's like a rich, entitled kid or something like that they were saying. And I don't know. He's like a Josh Rosen.
So how about this? Now, again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves. We have plenty of time to talk about this. However, if you're Miami, you have a ton of draft picks. Yeah. And you do like Tua. Why not get more draft picks? Because somebody's going to wanting a quarterback here. You could trade back out of that third hole and not even worry about it. Stick with Tua and, build your draft capital.
Yeah, it's crazy. Either way, I mean, if they're going to trade them, you're going to get a few picks back. I mean, they could even trade up. I mean, if they love Fields so much, I mean, they could trade up to one spot to two and take Fields, and then they're going to have to trade Tua to somebody. So you're going to get another first round pick back. So whatever you're going to get more back than what you're going to give up to move up that one spot. But I mean, I don't know. We have a lot of time, I guess, to get into that. But yeah, I don't know, man. They're picking so high. It's tough to say that they're going to stick with him because he just doesn't look. I don't know. Maybe it's going to take him another year. I don't know. As he didn't get in those those training camps and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe we'll see, but I don't know. It's picking so high. I'd be tempted if I was the GM for sure.
Definitely. So the Cleveland Browns, they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers backups, basically 24-22, giving Cleveland their first playoff nod since I was in high school. And lucky for them, their 6th seed earns them a rematch with this time Pittsburgh's first team squad. Nick Chubb hit 1,000 yards again in only 12 games, and he continues to prove he is one of the best to carry the rock.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. I was watching this game, and I was cheering for the Browns. I wanted to see him get in.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought they were going to – I mean, I didn't think this game was going to be as close as it was. I mean, Pittsburgh kind of hung in there. Rudolph didn't do as bad as I thought. I don't know. He still wasn't great, but it was good to see him and Myles Garrett kind of shake hands after the game. They kind of said I don't know. They shook hands and something they said onward and upward or something like that. They posted on Instagram. So that's good to squash that whole helmet to the head thing. So that was cool. But I don't know, man. Pittsburgh to me they like tanked, but in a smaller way, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like they sat Big Ben, they sat TJ Watt. I think they sat Cameron Hayward. Yeah.
Pittsburgh is only worried about Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They don't need to be worried about anybody else. So
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and we'll see. I think they wanted to play the Browns again. Obviously, I think they know they have their number. Sure. And
if your backups only lost by 2,
yeah. So if your backups only lost by 2, now the game's going to Pittsburgh.
And the Browns lost their head coach because of COVID, and they lost a couple coaches. Mm-hmm. Their head coach mainly. They're going to be in their first playoff game since 2002, and they don't even have their head coach on the sideline. It's very, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I feel bad for him, man, because Stefanski, he could – I guess he's up there for, coach of the year probably, and that sucks for him. Has to miss, his first playoff game. That's pretty terrible, man. That's kind of sucks. So
that's right. Next up, the Giants beat the Cowboys, but unfortunately for them, Washington beat the Eagles Sunday night, so their playoff hopes were ruined. Daniel Jones ended up with 12 total touchdowns and 16 total turnovers. So for all of us who laughed when the Giants took Daniel Jones 6 overall, feel free to continue laughing.
Yeah, he's not good. And
not good. No. And I will continue laughing at that horrible
pick. Yeah. Don't ever pick a quarterback from Duke in the first round. But yeah, I don't know, man. I thought Dallas was going to win this one, and they kind of just didn't look so hot. Andy Dalton, I guess now he thinks he played good enough. He thinks he's going to go get another starting job somewhere else. I know he came out, I guess today or yesterday, and said he thinks he can still be a starter in this league. He wants to test free agency. Obviously, with Dak coming back, he's not going to be starting there. But
I mean, good for him.
Dak maybe coming back. But yeah, I don't know. Both teams aren't that good, and it is what it is. Giants are. Joe Judge was kind of critical of our Eagles for not, losing to the Washington football team. But like you said earlier, Pittsburgh worries about Pittsburgh, and Joe Judge should just worry about the Giants. So you didn't get the job done. You were a 6-10 team. You're not entitled to even make the playoffs. So stop crying about it and get better at football.
Washington shouldn't have made the playoffs either.
Nah, nobody should. But Joe Judge out there, crying in the media, like look at the Dolphins. The Dolphins won 10 games and they're not in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And then you're a 6-10 team. You lost what? They lost 3 out of their last 4 games, and he's out here, trying to act like, the Eagles. I don't know. They did sit a lot of guys, and it is what it is. Teams do it all year. Teams sit guys all year, and we have all these sayings. You know what I'm saying? Like tank for Trevor and tank for Tua. I mean, the Eagles lose one game, and it's like, he wants to act like we ruined football. I was just like, it's nuts. If this game was at 1:00, nobody would even talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It was at 8:00, so people were watching it. If it was at 1:00, everybody would just be like, "Ah, yeah, the Eagles lost by 6." So, well, yeah.
Brian, we're going to get to the Eagles game.
Yeah, well, we don't have to now. We don't have to now. They lost.
Man.
They sat a bunch of guys. Oh well.
Right. The Ravens smashed the Bengals 38-3, but now, as the 5th seed in the AFC, they are forced to play their nemesis, King Derrick Henry, and the Titans in Tennessee this Sunday at 1:00. Good luck, Baltimore, because Henry is not very nice when he has to go up against you guys. And he just came off a 250-yard performance. He's got 2,000 rushing yards on the season. Good luck, Baltimore. Good luck.
I mean, Baltimore's playing pretty good. I'll give them that.
Great.
I mean,
they're playing very good.
They're playing great, but I think this is, like you said, this is probably like the worst possible matchup they could draw. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like they're probably having a little nightmares from last year. Lamar's got to get it done. What is he, 0-2 in the playoffs now? So at some point, he's got to get it done, man. If he's going to be I mean, he obviously is an MVP, and he's a good player. He's a great player. But to get to that next level, you know what I'm saying, Peyton Manning dealt with it for a little while there. You know, he couldn't win. He lost his first couple playoff games. And I don't know, man. Can Lamar get it done? And can the defense stop Henry, man? Can they bottle him up or, you know, just maybe limit him to, I don't know, man, like 100 yards or something like that? I don't know. Don't let him go for 2 or 250, obviously, or you're going to be toast. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game.
Their rookie running back, J.K. Dobbins, looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's coming on too.
So they didn't have that last year when they played the Titans in the playoffs. But having Dobbins, and I mean, because last year what you got, Lamar Jackson is your biggest weapon, which he still is, and Mark Andrews, and that was it for them really. But this year they can add Dobbins into the mix there, and even though he's only one guy, it's definitely helpful to have a stud running back who can take it to the house on any play.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. He's been picking it up this last month of the season. He's been showing a lot of promise, but I don't know. The Titans, they have no defense, so I mean, this is going to be a high-scoring game, I think. So Titans, I mean, would they give up 30? Would they have 38 points to Tennessee? I mean, or they gave up 38 points to Houston. I mean, that's not good. I mean, that's not going to that's not going to help against Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? So this game might be the highest scoring game of the weekend. I guess we'll see how it goes. Who can get the most stops, I guess, because I was watching something on ESPN this morning, and they said like the Titans defense is the second worst, I guess, defense over the past 15 years as far as defensive efficiency, the teams that make the playoffs or something like that. So
they're not good.
Yeah, their defense stinks, but I mean, they can score points. And Henry, if they can control the ball with Henry and limit, you know, the time Lamar's on the field, maybe. But to me, I think it's going to be a shootout, kind of like it was with the Titans this week against the Texans. I think it's going to be a game like that.
I can definitely see that happening. So, all you bettors out there, you might. I don't know. They haven't set the line yet, but hammer the over.
Take the over. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It should be. Who knows? Might go into the 60s or 70s, but we'll see.
The Colts beat the Jaguars to earn themselves the 7th seed in the playoffs at 11-5, mind you, and have to go to Buffalo to take on the red-hot Buffalo Bills. Also, our boy Jonathan Taylor ended the year with a 253-yard, 2-touchdown performance. JT also, I read, had a 92% catch rate, something the Colts should definitely look into for next year. Throw that dude the rock too.
Yeah, man, we love some Jonathan Taylor just as much as we love our Herbert and Jefferson. But
yes,
man, Taylor, why couldn't you do that 2 weeks ago? I could have won. I could have won a little bit more money in my fantasy, man, because I had you and I could have used those extra points. But damn, I'm glad to see it happen, though. I mean, especially rolling into the playoffs. But to me, man, I don't know. Going to Buffalo, this is going to be a tough game with Rivers. I think he said he might be retiring too, right? So this might be his last hurrah. So we'll see what happens. But to me, that's just – it's going to be a good game, but I can see Buffalo winning that one. But I know we were both pretty high on the Colts this year. We said they were going to get over 10 wins, and they got to 11. So at least we were right about that. And, yeah, moving forward, it's a good team to be on. You know, they're going to need to find, I guess, somebody to replace Rivers. I know they drafted Jacob Eason. I don't know if he's going to be the guy, but maybe our boy Wentz could get traded there. We'll see. But I don't know.
NFL guys, for every time Jacoby Brissett's name gets brought up, I read
Mhm.
about how much NFL guys love him. I don't know
Maybe
why,
they'll. Yeah, I don't know. Just doesn't get that love. I don't know.
but
But
he's
to them, that's a tough draw to draw Buffalo in Buffalo with. I guess it's the first time they're allowing fans right into the stadium with those guys going to be slamming people through tables at like 4 a.m. and
it's
like,
right. I mean, it's tough to make the playoffs. You're the 7th seed and you're 11-5.
yeah, it's tough. That's tough.
That's difficult. I mean, you think 11-5, you're shooting for the 2 seed.
Yeah, any other year you're 2,
You know what I mean?
3 at the worst, and you're the 7th. I mean, that's rough, dude. That's rough. Rough,
So we
tough draw.
now we talked about the Titans a little already. They edged out the Texans 41-38. You had mentioned with some
Mhm.
late game heroics from Ryan Tannehill
Mhm.
and A.J. Brown. Derrick Henry, as I said before, rushed for 250 yards in the 2,000-yard club. One of 8 guys to rush for 2K in a year. Deshaun Watson ends his year with incredible numbers.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Given his lack of weapons, 4,800 passing yards, 444 yards rushing, 36 total touchdowns, 9 turnovers. Easily one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Brandon Cooks, he also hit 1,000 yards for the 5th time in 7 years and for his 4th different team. This poor guy keeps performing and just keeps getting traded. He's obviously, and the worst part about it all, though, is he's obviously done enough for me to draft him too high again next year and tick me off for another fantasy season.
Yeah, he's probably going to set the record for most 1,000-yard seasons for different teams. I don't know, I have to look into that stat, but he's probably already up there with that. But yeah, man, like you said, Deshaun Watson. I mean, we feel bad for this guy every week, but I mean, he put together a hell of a year. I think when I read it, he accounted for like 88 or 89% of his team's total offense, which is I think the most all time or something they said. So yeah, I mean, he had a hell of a year. So my hat's off to him, and hopefully they can. I don't know, just build a better team and get a coach in there that they can, because I think that's what he had come out and said in an interview, I think maybe today or yesterday. He's just, we need a new culture. I guess he just said we need a new culture change and we need somebody to follow, like a leader. So, I mean, that just speaks volumes to, I guess, Bill O'Brien was probably just, out there barking orders. He's like, we just need, somebody, a culture change and somebody to follow. So hopefully they find a good coach and,
He's got a say in that.
yeah, he does. And hopefully they pick the right guy, and I hope they put some pieces together. But like you said, it's going to be tough without, a pick in the first 2 rounds. But they're going to have to hit free agency, I guess. I don't know their cap space, but, I mean, they're going to have to bring in a few guys free agency and hit on some of those.
Right, and that's why Cooks may end up getting traded again.
Yeah.
Because you can probably get a late first round or a second round pick for Cooks. Late first round pushing it, but you might get a second round pick for Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, no fault of his own. He might get shipped off again.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, that's always tough to do too, because you're trading a guy and then creating another hole. You know what I'm saying? So you're trading and getting capital, but then it's like, we need another receiver. So it's like, I don't know. To me, I would try to keep him, but I mean, like you said, I guess if somebody gives you a first round pick, obviously I'd probably trade him. But
yeah,
maybe they can replace him in free agency with somebody a little cheaper and go after a few other top names, I guess. But we'll see.
That's right. In a win and you're in scenario with 2 backup quarterbacks battling it out, the Rams took down the Cardinals to earn the 6th seed and will be playing NFC West rival Seattle Saturday at 4:40.
Yeah, this was kind of a weird game. I saw Kyler. Yeah, I mean, obviously the Rams with Goff, he had the thumb surgery. So, he was out. And then, I mean, Kyler had the injury, I guess, last week. And then he was out there, and as quick as he was out there, he was off. And then he came back in the 4th quarter. But, I mean, didn't really do a whole lot. So, yeah, Cardinals are kind of disappointing, man. I thought they kind of – I don't know, man. They kind of shut down at the end of the year a little bit. They kind of, I don't know, didn't play too hot coming down the stretch here. And the Rams, it'll be a good game. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess Goff isn't playing this week, right? I mean, he's out again, isn't he?
Well, he's been throwing the ball a little bit, so he's probably going to be out, but we'll see. I just think, and the Rams, obviously, they're riding their defense's coattails here.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Pete Carroll might be smart enough to open this offense back up and just say, look, we made it to the playoffs. Our offense limped in here. I mean, they have not been very good as of late. And then he just gives the keys to Russell Wilson and says, let's roll, buddy. And just let Russell Wilson play like he did in the first half of the year. Let him air it out, throwing the ball on first down. And, I mean, if I got Russell Wilson, I'm giving him the keys of the car and saying, let's go.
Yeah, let Russ cook, man. Let him eat. Let him do his thing. Why not? Why go out there and, I don't know, at least, I don't know. Let him go out there. If you're going to lose, at least lose with your best players slinging the ball around the field to some of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Don't play conservative. I know they played a couple tough games against the Rams this year. Obviously, it's a interdivision rivalry. But, I mean, yeah, I think Seattle can come out, like you said, and open up a little bit and get up, I don't know, a touchdown or 10 points. I think that game could get a little bit out of hand, depending on – I mean, especially if the backup quarterback's in. I mean, you don't want him out there throwing 45 or 50 passes trying to win you a playoff game. I mean, so that's going to be a tough one. I mean, with a backup QB, and if he's going to play, going to be tough to beat Seattle. So,
yep.
I'm going to go for that.
What's that?
So, yeah, I got the Seahawks on that one for sure. So, hopefully they can put it together.
The New Orleans Saints smashed the Panthers 33-7 and will go up against the 7th-seeded Bears Sunday at 4:40. On a positive Panthers note, they had 4 players top 1,000 all-purpose yards, and they should have a fully healthy Christian McCaffrey back for next year. So we know one of those players is Mike Davis. He's obviously not going to repeat if McCaffrey stays healthy, but still, you got a lot of weapons there. So who will be under center? That's still to be determined.
Yeah, I guess that's a big question, right? Because
I don't think it's Bridgewater.
Yeah, I think they'll move on from him, or I don't know. They'll get somebody else. But having McCaffrey come back obviously is a huge, uptick at your running back position. Even though Mike Davis is good, I mean, but he just won't get the touches next year. But if he stays, he'll be a solid 1-2 combo with McCaffrey. Maybe McCaffrey doesn't have to do so much all the time. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they learn that. But yeah, I like Matt Rule. I think they're a decent team. They got a couple young guys, and I know their offensive coordinator, that Joe Brady guy, he's pretty young offensive coordinator. I heard his name around. So hopefully he can stay maybe, I don't know, and build something with those guys.
He's not ready to be an NFL head coach.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I know he's only like 31. He was the offensive coordinator for LSU 2 years ago, and then Matt Rule brought him over to Carolina. But yeah, I don't think
last year.
So.
LSU, yeah, because that was when Burrow did his thing.
Yeah, and then Matt Rule hired him.
First year as a coordinator, and now he's going to be head coach. No.
Yeah, that'll be a stretch. I mean, I think he's a couple years away, but we'll see. They got a good staff. I mean, I like Matt Rule. He's he can turn it around, especially with McCaffrey coming back healthy.
Now, Aaron Rodgers, in my humble opinion, solidified his candidacy as the league's MVP with another 4 touchdown performance as his Packers crushed the Bears 35-16. Davante Adams ended the season as the overall highest scoring receiver, even though he only played basically 13 and a half games. And he beat out Tyreek Hill by 30 points.
Yeah, man. He this last month, man, he kind of went off. He was some of these games were crazy, but I don't know, man. Like you said, Rodgers, yeah, he's going to win the MVP at how old's Rodgers now? What's he like? He's got like 37, isn't he? So he's getting up there.
He's older than us.
He's getting up there. He's 36, 37 years old, man, and like we always say, man, if they could have just, I don't know, man, just not have drafted a backup quarterback in that first round and gave him another weapon, I mean, how good would they be? They're already going to be hard to beat, and they already might make it to the Super Bowl. But
there's a ton of receivers coming out this year too, just like last year. So
yeah,
they got a shot to do it again.
I guess when you got Davante Adams, that's all you need. So they're going to be another team that's going to be tough to beat in the playoffs, just because nobody wants to play at Lambeau Field in that freezing cold weather against Aaron Rodgers. I mean, they're used to it. He came out and spoke about that. I think he was on like Pat McAfee's podcast or something like that, talking about the weather and how, like, they're just used to that weather. And he says it's just such a shock for some of those teams that go in there. You know what I'm saying? Like when they come out of the tunnel and it's just snowing and the field's covered in snow and it's like 10 degrees. He's like, we're used to that stuff. And it's just like a mental thing. And That's why our linemen roll out there with like, their bare arms and no sleeves and all that. And that's just our thing, man. And I believe in, to me, yeah, it's tough to do when you're not used to it, man, especially if if you're coming from playing from inside or something like that, and then you're at Lambeau Field, playing in outside in December and January. I mean, that's tough to do. And it's even tougher when you got Rodgers and Devontae Adams basically unstoppable. So they're going to be fun. They're going to be fun to watch.
The Los Angeles Chargers won against the pretend Kansas City Chiefs 38-21, giving them 7 wins on the year and a much worse draft pick than they deserve. They obviously lost their head coach, Anthony Lynn, but Justin Herbert, like I said, another 300 yards, and he'll probably be crowned Offensive Rookie of the Year. And as we both mentioned, he's a great building block for whoever the next guy holding the whistle in LA is.
Yeah, please don't hire Jason Garrett. I think Anthony Lynn, I think he gets another head coaching job. I think I could see him going to like Atlanta or something like that and getting the job there.
No way. Atlanta is so bad finishing out games, and Anthony Lynn is the worst coach.
I could just see it. He just looks like he could be a Falcons coach. I don't know. I could see him getting another job. Or maybe the Lions. I don't know. The Lions would probably take Anthony Lynn. But, man, Herbert, like you said, Herbert finishes off a great year, and hopefully it's going to be tough, though, because, look, he just learned it's going to be another offense, you know what I mean? So next year, it's kind of like the Baker Mayfield deal, you know what I'm saying? Baker Mayfield's been in the league, 3 years, and he's had 3 different head coaches and, 3 different offensive coordinators. So I don't know, man. Hopefully Herbert doesn't regress with, learning a new system. And
if I'm a head coach and I'm going into almost said San Diego, I'm going in the Chargers, and I saw what just happened with my rookie quarterback, that no one predicted him to be that good that quickly. Mm-hmm. I got to think – I know I have my guys, but I got to think about keeping that offensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I would.
I know they don't do that. I know that doesn't happen ever, but –
But you just don't – you don't want to – man, why make it harder on the kid? You know what I'm saying? Like, he just had a great year. He's probably going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, and now he's going to go into this offseason again with COVID. Still nothing's going to – I don't know if anything's going to be any different going into next year. They might – be able to have some more practices and stuff like that, mini camps and whatnot. But, it's just more something else for him to worry about. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
I don't know. I hope he keeps moving forward and doesn't regress in his second year. So
agreed.
Hate to see
Seattle Seahawks, we talked about a little bit. They edged out the 49ers 26-23. And hopefully, like we said, we can get back to the Seahawks from the first half of the year and not the offense we have seen lately. Otherwise, their playoff dreams will be over fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, they got to let Russ cook. Got to get the ball to DK, get Lockett involved more. And my hat's off to San Fran, man, because they were one of the most injured teams in the NFL this year. And they hung tough in a lot of these games. They probably won more games than anybody probably would imagine when you have that list of injuries. And, man, that Jeff Wilson, he's good. He's good. He's good.
He's a backup.
He's a backup. You got, Ayuk was a positive. You got Kittle. He'll be healthy next year. He was hurt this year. He missed a lot of time. They need a quarterback too. But my hat's off to Shanahan and that coaching staff. They had a hell of a year, and probably not a hell of a year, but they, with what they had, they played well, and they hung into a lot of games, and they played tough.
They finished the year with a 3rd-string quarterback and a 4th-string running back.
Yeah.
And not their 1st-string wide receiver was out as well.
Yeah, they had a boatload of injuries, and if those guys can stay healthy, they can get the right QB piece in there. I think they'll be tough to beat come I don't know, come down these next couple of years. I think they'll be right there back in the playoff hunt. I think if they can get somebody better than Garoppolo. I
agree. Las Vegas took down Denver basically as time expired, 32-31 on a 2-point conversion attempt. Very gutsy call by John Gruden going for 2 rather than the tie in overtime. Drew Lock is not the answer in the Mile High City. Jerry Jeudy, rookie wide receiver, was 5th in the league in air yards. And a healthy defense and a decent quarterback. I think the Broncos, they could be much improved next year, as I mentioned.
Yeah, they could be better. They should be better. They need to Lock needs to not be the starter. I don't know. He might be able to – I guess he's still on his rookie deal, so they can maybe keep him maybe as a backup if they brought in a veteran guy. maybe bring a little Fitz magic, man. Sprinkle a little Fitz magic on the Broncos and see what they do, man. They probably make the playoffs, but
Yes,
I don't
especially with
know.
those weapons. You got
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton coming back from injury. You got Melvin Gordon in the backfield. Philip Lindsay, he's a free agent, so he'll probably be out. But you
Mhm.
also got Jerry Jeudy. You got KJ Hamler, Noah Fant. Oh my gosh, Fitz magic would wreak havoc on the
They'd be a
AFC.
playoff team, and then you just
Yeah,
let Locke. I don't know. You just keep. I mean, because you can keep him at that point because he's not making $30 million a year, so you can maybe. I don't know. Maybe he can learn a little something from Locke or from Fitzmagic, but we'll see. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a starter for much longer. And
yeah.
Vegas, I don't know, kind of a up and down year to me. They just kind of underperformed in my mind. I thought they'd be a little better this year, but I guess we'll see what they do. They always seem to have these they always think they have these great drafts, and then these guys
Well,
like Ruggs, you know what I'm saying? They always have all these picks, and they draft all these flashy players, and I don't know, man. Ruggs wasn't that great this year. I thought he was going to be better. As far as Judy too, I mean, he played good, I guess, in a few games this year, but he had a lot of quiet games this year. I know Locke has a lot to do with that, but I think he'll be better next year, Judy. Ruggs, I'm not so sure of, man. I don't know. He might just not. He might just be one of those kind of I don't know, like one of those gadget players, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Not really like a true top receiver in the NFL.
the name is escaping. Oh, C. John Ross,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's that.
4'2", 40 guy. Just didn't happen.
Yeah, smaller guy. You know what I'm saying? He has. Man, I don't know. It's tough, but we'll see.
Well, we've come to that time, Brian. Finally, Washington won the NFC East with a win against a Philly team that only tried for really 2 quarters. And you got to pull for Alex Smith next week in the playoffs, even if you're even if you're a Cowboys fan, a Giants fan, or Eagles fan, you got to be pulling for Alex Smith. I mean, anyone with a heart. Although getting a win against the Buccaneers is going to be a pretty tall task. Philly has some of the biggest question marks of any team really heading into the offseason, starting with the head coach, the quarterback, what's going to happen. And Jalen Reagor, our prized first-round pick, he never had more than 60 receiving yards in a game and only ended with 1 touchdown.
Yeah, he didn't have a good year, and he got hurt, right? And he got a concussion. He was out of this game, got hurt. What do you have? I think he broke his thumb or something like that early in the year. He missed a bunch of games or a few games. And, yeah, they got a ton of questions. I mean, is Hurts going to be the quarterback? Are they going to be able to trade Wentz? Peterson's skating through right now. Apparently they had a meeting with Jeffrey Lurie today. I didn't hear that he got fired. So
Well,
apparently
Zach Ertz, is he coming back?
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he'll be gone. Deshaun Jackson will be gone. I don't know, a bunch of other guys, but I'm sure we'll get to that later, another episode. But yeah, I mean, when Zach Ertz is on his final interview and he's crying his eyes out, I don't think he's coming back. I think he kind of knows his time is up. Dallas Goedert's just as good at this point, I think. I mean, and younger, so
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, tough year, man. They definitely underperformed this year, man. I know a lot of it's to do with the play of Wentz. He just wasn't good. What did he sit out for the last 4 games, and he still led the league in turnovers. So that's tough to do.
It is. It's very tough to do. 3/4 of a season.
That's tough to do. But is Hurts the answer? Because I don't know, man. He definitely can run around, but he definitely has to get better as a passer. I think they said the past in all the games that he started, his completion percentage was 52%, which was last in the NFL for a starting quarterback. So he's got to get better because he didn't look too hot the last couple of weeks. So I don't know if he's going to be the guy moving forward.
I don't know. But so we got your take on the Eagles pulling Hurts in the after the third quarter when the Eagles were only trailing Washington by 3 points, and everyone seems to be upset that they played Nate Sudfeld instead. He predictably crashed and burned, and Washington ended up winning the NFC East. Now, had the Eagles won, the Giants would have been a 6-10 NFC East champion. And so we already said the Giants, they won 6 games. Okay. You don't deserve to be in the playoffs. Neither does Washington, but if you want to make the playoffs, then you make the playoffs. So you don't need to be worried about somebody else doing it. Now, everyone's complaining that Nate Sudfeld was in. Well, before the game even started, Doug Peterson came out and said, I'm probably going to play Nate Sudfeld in this game. Gives him a chance to see what he's got in the quarterback. Now, say Nate Sudfeld played in a regular season game like 2 or 3 years ago. So players develop, they get better. He wants to see, and normally when you have a third string quarterback, the only time you get to see them in live action is in the preseason when they're going up against a third string defense. So you don't even get a good look then. Putting him in there, he gets to see his third string quarterback against a first string defense. And, hopefully he has his answer now that Nate Sudfeld is not going to be a solid NFL quarterback or even really a good backup. Also, I'm not sure I understand the difference between the Chiefs. They won. They have the number 1 seed. They have nothing to play for, so they benched their starters. Well, Philly is horrible, a 4-win team. They have nothing to play for. They benched their starters. I'm not sure why there's a huge difference there. What if Miles Sanders goes out there and tears an ACL in a meaningless Week 17 game? Well, he's not going to be ready for the start of the season. So I don't know. I don't get the uproar. For me, the biggest issue is that the players are upset with Peterson. So he obviously, I'm assuming, was not open with his team beforehand or during. Even at halftime, you got to go in and say, look, guys, here's the deal. We got a win hurts us. We lose 3 draft picks or 3 spots in the draft. If you guys don't care about that, I understand. But we don't want to, as a team, we knew what's best for our team. And we need to see what we have in these backup players and let them know, because I don't think the Eagles players knew what was going down. And for me, that's the biggest problem, because maybe if they knew, they would understand a little better. If Doug Peterson would have been a little more open, maybe they'd understand. I read something that maybe Doug Peterson wasn't even pulling the strings there. Maybe someone else, Howie or Jeffrey Lurie, the owner, maybe they said, look, Poole hurts. We need to lose this game for this draft pick. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. It just seems to me that Peterson was not open with the players, and he should have been. And maybe at least the inter issues that they're having internally, maybe that would not be as bad.
Yeah, I agree with that. Everything you said, I agree with. Peterson, yeah, like you said, he should have been a little more transparent and told those guys that, Nate's going to go in. I thought he did say that, but maybe he could have just came out and said, hey, look, Nate's going to play the fourth quarter, or Nate's going in after halftime, or I don't know. Maybe he should have just been more open because, yeah, to me, like you said, that's the worst part. Now you got Miles Sanders coming out and saying, they weren't happy about taking out Jalen Hurts, and I'm sure Jalen Hurts isn't happy about it.
But Miles already wasn't playing, so I don't know what.
Yeah, he should kind of just be quiet about it. But you see, I don't know. You read about Kelsey wasn't, or Jason Kelsey wasn't happy about it, and guys wanted to go up to Peterson during the game and whatnot.
And that's not good. If he loses that locker room, it's it.
Yeah,
Eagles will be 2-14 next year if they don't get behind their head coach.
Yeah, that's the worst part, man. You're going to lose trust. Hopefully he doesn't. But man, I don't know. Some of those guys.
Bill Belichick is a notorious jerk. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Johnson is a notorious jerk. But their players respected them.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. If you don't have respect from your team, then it's over.
Yep, it's going to be tough to come back from that. I don't know. We'll see. Peterson's going to have a lot of work to do. That's not even the biggest issue that they have. Obviously, there's mountains of other problems that they have. Cap space and Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts and all that. But to me, you got to look at it like this. People want to say, my one last thought about it. People want to say, it was only a 3-point game, and obviously you already knew what was going to happen because Doug could have kicked the field goal on the fourth down to tie the game, and he obviously didn't do that. But he goes for fourth down a lot. So, you knew right then and there they weren't really trying to win the game. And obviously with all those guys out, they weren't trying to win the game. But I look at it like this. Look at Jalen Hurts' stats. He was 7 for 20 for like 70 yards, and he had 30 yards rushing. So you're going into the fourth quarter, and your starting quarterback had 100 total yards. So guess what? I benched him because he was playing like crap. That's all I would say. That's the end of the story.
Sure.
Yeah, guess what? He wasn't playing good. Carson Wentz didn't suit up, so Nate Sudfeld was the next guy up. Obviously, he didn't play good either, but it's
Did
not like
Wentz even go to the game? Was he there?
he was there. But yeah, he
Okay.
had street clothes on. But
Yeah.
yeah, Jalen Hurts, you weren't playing good. He wasn't playing good, so obviously you got benched. I mean,
How embarrassing is that for Wentz? Gosh, I feel so bad. I mean, this poor guy. He gets benched for a second round rookie. He gets a healthy scratch for the last week of the season. He's in street clothes on his own sideline, and every day he pulls up to the stadium, he's got to stare at a statue of Nick Foles.
yeah, might be
I
time
mean,
for him to. He needs a fresh start,
can't
probably.
emotionally. I don't see, and mentally, I don't see how he plays in Philly
Yeah,
ever again. I just don't see
yeah.
how he can.
And we
So
talked about it before the show. I mean, he skipped his his final
Exodus.
interview and declined to talk to the media, so he could have went out there and squashed it all and squashed all the reports, but he just adds the fuel to the fire. And now he's coming out today and said he needs time to think about it or whatnot, and he might still want to play on the Eagles, but I don't know. He's probably waiting to see what happens with Peterson, I guess, and maybe he needs a fresh start.
I'm glad I don't have to figure it out. I can just sit here and speculate from my couch.
Yeah, they need to figure it out because that's the damn team I watch every Sunday. So they need to figure it out, and we need to get back to the playoffs. So
I'll call
figure
up.
it out.
I'll call up Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie, and I'll tell him, look, my man Brian, he needs you to figure this thing out for him and do it quick, please.
Yeah, figure it out. I mean, come on, get it together. They should be better than they are. They underperformed. Draft guys from the SEC. Don't pass on Justin Jefferson and guys like that. So this year, don't pass on Devontae Smith or Jamar Chase from LSU. If those guys are there, draft them.
It
I don't know.
scares me to death for them to take a wide receiver at
Yeah,
6 overall. It scares me to death because Philly can't draft a wide receiver in the first round. They just can't do it.
I'd rather see them take Patrick Surtain Jr. from Alabama, the cornerback. So
They also can't draft DBs.
yeah, oh, I want that. Yeah, I
D
want
lineman is
Surtain
dead.
or
Oh,
yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I don't either. I mean, good luck. Anyway, that's it, man. That's all we got for the week. I'm sure we're going to dip into. We'll have a lot of
Yeah, we got a lot
stuff
of
to go over next week and a lot of fantasy stuff. I want to go over our fantasy performers for the end of the year. Who are the top players out there at each position? And real quick, before we close up shop, on Saturday at 1:00, our first game, the Colts are at the Bills. Just reiterating what we went over during the show. Saturday at 4:40, it is the Rams at the Seahawks. And then the Saturday night game, 8:15, the Buccaneers take on the Washington football team. And let's see, Sunday at 1:00 is the Baltimore-Tennessee game. That's going to be fireworks. I wish that was the night game, actually.
yeah. That should
Yeah,
be prime time.
I know. The 4:40 game on Sunday, the Bears and the Saints. That's probably going to be an embarrassment for Chicago fans out there. Sorry. And then the Sunday night game, Browns at the Steelers. Again, Browns don't have their head coach. They should definitely – I mean, I don't know if they can – I guess it's probably too late to flex it now and flip-flop those games, the Ravens and the Browns game. But
They should.
here we
Be
are.
nice. But yeah, I guess yeah, should be a good weekend of football. Next week we only have 6 games to cover, so maybe before we cover them, I know we wanted to touch on the top 12 fantasy performers, so we'll save that for next week. We'll cover those 6 games and go over those fantasy guys next week. Yeah, should be a good weekend of football, man. Some good matchups, some exciting stuff, and I'm interested to see, like you said, that Baltimore Tennessee game, and I want to see what the Seahawks look like. I want to see Brady in the playoffs against, with another uniform on against a good defensive line.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot of storylines, like you said. I think the Bears and the Saints is probably the least excited game. The least exciting game I think on the weekend. I think the Saints run away with that one, but all the other ones should be pretty good. You never know, man. Could see playoffs get kind of crazy sometimes, and there's always those sleeper teams, those upsets that happen. So we'll see. Rarely ever does all the top seeds just win out or win all the games. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see who this year's, I guess, underdog is, and should be fun. Another good week, and I guess everybody can check us out on Facebook. Obviously we'll post a video every Wednesday, and we got Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Pandora, every other platform you could think of. We're on. So give us a follow and tell everyone about it. I know I've had some new people message me about it. So my cousin out in Arizona got some people to listen to us, so that was
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, I've had some friend requests from some people out there and whatnot. So we're trying to expand in all areas. So get the
Awesome.
word
Yep.
out there for us. And
And keep chirping on the site. Keep
yep,
posting stuff. We love obviously, it's all about member engagement. So,
yeah,
get out there,
yeah.
let your voice be heard. How do you feel about the Eagles basically losing that last game on purpose? Who do you think's going to, win these playoff games coming up? Who's your fantasy MVP maybe? Get it out
Mm-hmm.
there, let us know. And make sure you check out our sponsor there, www.thediaperdust.com, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. And get some chatter going. Let's talk it up this week.
Yeah, I know fantasy. Obviously, fantasy football's over, so we had a lot of starter sit type questions. But yeah, like you said, maybe we'll throw up a couple polls. Maybe I'm saying like who's going to win the games, and we'll try to get some chatter that way. And like you said, everybody, if you're listening and if you can listen to us for this long, let us know who you think's going to win those games this week. And like you said, maybe we'll have a few guests on in a couple weeks, and we'll go over some of that the fantasy, MVPs and whatnot and stuff like that. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff to play around with, I guess, after the year, and coming into these weeks that we don't have as many games, so we'll have more time to talk about some other stuff. So it'll be good. We'll start getting some of our members back on and chatting it up with us.
Sounds great, buddy.
All right. Catch you next week. Hopefully it's a good week of football, and we'll be back next week.
Have a great one.